Massive Apex Legends esports news today. Not going to be a long one, but it will be a big one. Pause. But seriously, we've got three big organizations making their announcements, and honestly, a lot of these rosters are shaping up to be more spread out than what I thought they were going to be. Like, obviously, you've got people thinking that this is just going to be 100 Thieves or a Falcons year, but you've still got to consider, you know, the alliances of the world. You've also got to talk about some of these rosters that got announced today. Are we taking them serious? I think we should. I think some of these actually look like they may have a real chance. And we got our first set of scrim results now that all of these rosters have announced and played in today's scrims as well. So let's dive into it and talk about what's going on. Firstly, Envy did get an announcement. Now, we knew Dropped had been a part of this Envy roster for a while. We kind of knew this is the direction that they were going in. We knew some of these players were playing with each other, but it was official that Sykes will be the player that is added to this roster. Dropped obviously is already been here, and Zapto Talmadge was the bundle package coming over from TSM. They are going to be on the Envy squad, looking very nice, and we'll talk about how they did tonight as well. Then you had the big announcement came from 100 Thieves today. We all knew this, and we called it very well. Verholz kind of leaked it all out to us, and if you haven't watched this announcement video already, you probably should, because it was really good work, I would say. It is Verholz, it is Phony, and it is Jin Burton. This was no surprise, but obviously I think a lot of people were anticipating this one as well. Bronzy is the coach, of course. No shock there. He's been with that 100 Thieves talent for a very long time. It is weird seeing Bronzy not be with Timmy on this go round, but I mean, it's very obvious that this roster is really good. I mean, you're talking about one of North America's finest IGLs, Phony, who won Split 2 championship, by the way, then had the roster weird issue stuff going on with SSG, moves over to APAC South, still looked like one of the best, by the way, and placed very, very well. So Phony is going to be a huge asset to this roster. Verholz, Jin Burton, I mean, do you really even need to get an introduction? Possibly. I mean, are they arguably, or are they just simply the best two controller players in the world? I don't know. You've obviously got to consider Hal still. You've got to consider some others as well. But man, these guys are just so good on paper. Will they actually perform to that level that we're, you know, expecting them to? Time will tell, of course. Then you had this and you thought maybe this was it, but we knew these other announcements had to happen, and NRG made it look like they were going to stay in the scene, and yes, indeed they are. They made their announcement, and I got to say, this roster turned out to be better than what I anticipated as well. Timmy, of course, probably one of the fan favorites in the scene still. I was kind of shocked that he stayed around. I kind of thought he was going to retire, to be honest with you, but no, he did not. He stuck around. Timmy will be IGLing for NRG, and that is with Yanya and Guild. When you talk about two of the best controller players in the world on the last 100 Thieves roster, it still comes to mind. I remember when Guild, just last year, he was arguably up there in the top three. Is he still in that top three? Obviously, that's a conversation for everybody to have here. Yanya, I remember, you know, back when it was the LG Shivas, these guys were also considered, like, you know, maybe Yanya is probably up there top 5 controller players in the game. So there's so much talent right now that I forgot existed, and to see all these teams form together, it's crazy, man. I think NRG could be a sick roster. They got Dan and Winnie on the staff side. Winnie obviously coaching, and don't forget, Dan was actually on SSG helping with that roster as well. So much experience, so much talent, and so much capability right here with this roster. So everybody was kind of flooding through the 100 Thieves announcement, of course, but do not sleep on this NRG win. I think this was a really big announcement for them as well. So I'm excited to see how they're going to perform. How did they perform in the first set of scrims tonight? Well, let's go over it. First place, Shopify Rebels, obviously. No big surprise here. This team is very good and talented. But take a look at second place. 100 Thieves on their first official scrims after the announcement get a second place finish here. This is very big from them. Now, keep in mind, Falcons did not play, so if you want to go throw in that, well, you know, how serious was it? It is scrims at the end of the day. You know, you just got to get over it. But another big announcement, VDR, third place. This is the Reps, Deeds, and Vaxlon roster. This is another one that we've kind of, I think, slept on because there's no organization backing it right now. But this is another big roster to keep in mind. It's not just NRG. It's not just Shopify Rebellions. It's not just 100 Thieves. There's still a bunch of unsigned rosters in here that look very good as well. Then you've got Stallions in fourth, right? This is Enemy coming over to play with Alberlelli after the complexity drop. You've got LG. LG obviously just announced that they signed the former Cloud9 roster. Team Huss, Duplex, obviously they've already announced their roster just days ago. Broski's Envy, this is the one that we just talked about getting announced. Complexity, this is the one that just got Funk over to replace Enemy. NRG just got announced today, all in the top 10. So really crazy sets, scrims over the next few weeks. Obviously so many people are gearing up for this. Now that we're here, now that we're kind of confirmed, we're past roster lock. I mean, this is probably going to be the last really big day that we're going to see of announcements, because we're just kind of like in the zone now, and now we're getting ready for actual events, actual tournaments. JMeyels are not too happy with the way people are signing up for scrims, and kind of aggravated, saying we are 1 month from Pro League, more teams are getting announced, and we can't even get a 20 lobby scrim. Genuinely, you all effing suck. It's time to show up to work, you pathetic losers. That or waste another year being terrible. I just thought these comments were funny, man. I mean, we were all over the place. People were throwing haymakers at Zach, and everybody was also agreeing with Zach. And it is true. I mean, a lot of people, it's weird because like we get to this stage and you're trying to take the game serious, and people talk about wanting to make this their dream a reality and all that stuff, but it's like you see the same complaints every single time. It's Zach talking about Pro League scrims not getting filled, and then it's champs. Like we even saw this with champs a lot of times. Like sometimes champs weren't getting lobbies filled, and it's like, dude, this is the world championship. We're scrimming for the world championship, and you're not locked in. You're not showing up for scrims. We can't even get a full lobby. It can get a little embarrassing, you know. It's like, come on, man, how seriously are we going to take this esport? Show up, get ready to play. But there are a lot of reasons that are out there, not knocking anybody for not showing up, whatever. Just saying, it is kind of a weird little conundrum that we're in. Anyhow, with all of these roster announcements, let me know which one you found to be the most exciting. I think you got to go with I think the NRG was exciting, because I think this was probably, of the three, this is probably the one we knew the least about, but we still kind of knew. Like it was very obvious, and to be able to put those puzzle pieces together as to where all of this was going. But 100 Thieves was literally leaked out by Verhulst themselves, so it was pretty obvious where that one was going. But when you talk about just absolute strength, you gotta say 100 Thieves is definitely the strongest roster that was announced today. But this NRG win is a serious threat, I think, and you got to consider them. I'm interested to see how year 5 is going to pan out. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with everything going inside of the world of Apex Legends esports. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.